Hello there, vinyl community, and happy continuing of Christmas. JorgenS here, and as you can see, I am really well dressed now for New Year's Eve. That is tomorrow, and I thought I'm going to do a little celebration of the year that has already been passing, 2015, by do a little year in review, and well dressed for the occasion. And I want to take this one off first. 2015 has been a pretty good year for record collecting, at least when it comes to the spring. The autumn was a little so-so, that I found things, but many of them were flea market stuff and stuff that were a bit low budget, good music nonetheless, but records that you can find in many other second-hand stores. And the second-hand stores here in Sundsvall have been having a horrible year when it comes to income of new records, at least when it comes during the autumn. That was really bad, and that's on the negative side. On the positive side, the city of mine now during the last month got a whole new second-hand store that had one of the best record parts that I have seen in many years, actually, and there was no sight of the typical flea markets records that are on every second-hand store. It was high quality records, and it's going to be interesting to follow that second-hand store during 2016 and see if I can come up with great stuff from that record, from that second-hand store. Also on the positive side is that I have been discovering a whole lot new artists that I wouldn't have been collecting before if it wasn't for you, vinyl community, who inspired me to some new great artists, mainly in the genre of the 70s, but also when it comes to Indian synth pop from the 80s. So hats off to vinyl community for inspiring me. And I have 10 records that I have been put together in some kind of a chart of the best findings of the year. Some of every one of these records, with the exception for one, you have seen before, but hey, it's nostalgia from 2015. Also, I'm going to give away 2 awards to the song of the year and the worst finding of the year. But let's start from the beginning. Little facts of the collecting year 2015. Interesting thing here is that almost every genres have been moving up a little bit during the year, with exception from the 70s that still is dominating, mostly because that is a new genre that has records that you can find on many second-hand stores, and when you have new genre to discover, you're having a whole new world to explore. Also jazz, that was a disappointment last year, has been going up a bit. I have been buying a little bit more jazz than last year. It's a good thing. 80s also up a little bit, mostly during the spring when I found a whole lot 80s synth pop. When it comes to mainstream 80s, it's still very tough. Maybe, as I said last year, because I have so much, it's hard to find something new. And as I said, 70s are the dominating thing. The disappointment this year has been vinyl singles that I've been finding a whole lot less than the usual. CDs is pretty much the same. Vinyl full-length LPs is still the dominating, and very happy for that. But I want more vinyl singles. Also 78s have been really bad. I don't think I bought one 78 at all during 2015. So also I hope for better stuff when it comes to that. But now let's see what I've been buying during 2015. Not everyone can get into the top 10, of course. Only 10 records are allowed. So here comes a little mix that I put together with the records that I've been buying that were really interesting and good during 2015, but not enough to be placed on the best album finds of the year. Unfortunately, my digital camera is not working, so I've been taking snapshots from various videos that I've been doing where I'm holding the records. So here comes some of the records I've been buying during 2015.
The first Noel the angel did say was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far. And to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both days.
So that were some of my 2015 this year. A huge variation of genres, just like it should be. So let's now go into top 10 of the best findings during this year.
Number 10.
Number 10 is a record that I didn't buy myself. I got it. It was a VCLT that I got from John Bellamy, and it was band that I normally have seen as a little so-so. Not my favorite 80s band. But with this album, my whole world was changed. I discovered that this band actually was really great. I'm talking about Dollar and the Dollar album. Once again, thank you, John Bellamy, for this one. It was really great. It made it to top 10 of the best albums that I've been getting during this year. Videoteque, really exciting and mysterious song. I love it very much. So this album is really recommended, highly recommended.
Number 9.
Number 9, also a record that is here because of the quality of the record, of the music, that is. And it's a record that I bought during spring. One of the best soul albums during this year. This is Detroit Spinners, or The Spinners, with the album Love Trippin' from 1980, containing their huge hit Working My Way Back to You. And this is a very funky, both funky and smooth album, and at the same time it's good because it stands with both feet in different genres. Had one foot in what's to come of new 80s soul music, and the other foot in traditional 70s disco soul, Motown and Philly soul style. So it's a awesome mix between something new and something classic, and this is a really awesome, smooth and funky album. So highly recommended. Number 9.
Number 8.
Number 8 is a record. It's 2 records actually. It's records that I actually bought during the final months of this year, and I was extremely happy to find these 2 CDs. They are placed on the same place, mainly because the artists in this case are from the same family. So I thought, and the family is pretty famous, so I thought it was the best to place them on the same place. Of course, everyone who has followed the vinyl updates lately knows that I'm talking about the Marx brothers. These 2 CDs with Harpo and Chico Marx. That I knew that Chico Marx had a big band. I had cassette recordings from radio. I knew that Harpo had been having a smaller own career as playing the harp, but I never knew when I was going to get hold of the records with them myself in physical format. So I was extremely happy finding these ones. This record also contains actor Desi Arnaz. Okay, but nothing more, nothing less. Not my favorite. It's overshadowed by the fantastic concert with Chico Marx and his big band. Funny, both comedy and big band in one place. And this really relaxing Harpo albums. Shout out to David Young, who gave the fantastic tip of putting on the album and just lay down and let the music take you. And that is exactly what I did during Day After Christmas, and it was fantastic, relaxing, awesome albums. So number 8 for albums that I waited for a long time to actually find, with my absolute favorite comedians.
Number 7.
Number 7 is an album that I bought at the same time as Chico Marx album. It is also an album with an artist that I wanted to have for very long. I heard him the first time in 1988, and since then I only have been finding 2 records with him, and they were pretty expensive. That is how rare it is to find albums with this artist. I'm talking about, of course, one of my favorite big band leaders, Boyd Raeburn and his orchestra. This is Jubilee Performances 1946. I was happy to find a CD with Boyd Raeburn this year, and I think that if this is the 3rd album that I find with this guy in 27 years, I think it's worth all being placed as one of the best findings during this year.
Number 6.
Number 6 is something that I don't find all that often. It's actually a bootleg that I found during the spring. A bootleg with a very great band called U2. This album, the new U2 rehearsals and full versions, were released almost the same time as they released Zooropa in 1991. This is unknown recordings, of course, and special bluesy and rock standards that are really awesome and really well made and great arranged, and too bad that they are not official. It would be interesting to see them on the real album, but I'm very happy for this bootleg. It's a really great thing to have.
Number 5.
Number 5 is a record that I found during the record fair in spring, and it's a record that I really melted when I listened to it, because it was so smooth and soothing and really great. I said before that I want to have as much Carole King records as possible, at least from the 70s, and this only made that wish very stronger when I listened to her album Simple Things from 1977. And fantastic arrangement, very awesome produced, and fantastic melodies and lyrics. Very, very relaxing, and she sings so fantastic, Carole King. So this one made my love for Carole King's music even stronger.
Number 4.
Number 4 is an album that I actually hasn't shown yet. I said that I've been doing an order to Ginza, and the problem is that I haven't got all the records yet, because I have one record left that I haven't that I had to special order for me, that hasn't gotten in yet, and I haven't got it. So when I get all the records, I have put together a mix of various package openings that I have been doing when I have been getting all the records from Ginza. But in the first shipping that I got from Ginza, I got a record that you will see then again, but it is a fantastic record that I was so happy to have. Depeche Mode, my favorite band, and their live concert from the Delta Machine tour, Live in Berlin, the soundtrack from 2014. Fantastic, all the best hits, and David Gahan in perfect shape here, fantastic gatefolds, and this only costed me around $6.50 for this double CD. So really fantastic finding for Depeche Mode fan like me. So I said also that we're going to give away a couple of awards, and I will. Let's start with the award for Song of the Year. And the Song of the Year I can't show because it's not released. The single is not released in a physical format, unfortunately. That is how, unfortunately, for some reason we won today. But I've been listening to it on YouTube a lot, and it's a fantastic funky song. The dance track that really is, in my opinion, very awesome. And I'm talking about one of the latest singles from the Chemical Brothers. They released a whole new album this year, and one of the singles were a song called Go, and it was really awesome. It was standing with 1 foot in something new when it comes to sound and beat and production, and 1 foot in traditional experimental Chemical Brothers. I really love that song Go. So it definitely is the song of 2015 for me.
Number 3.
Coming into the medal positions, and bronze goes to 2 records that were bought at the same time, you might say, same buying moment. So I thought it was suitable to have them in the same place. And talking about records that I found during the summer, Isaac Hayes and his Live at the Sahara Tahoe, fantastic, great sleeve, and double LP, a really fantastic one, with really funny lyrics, real funny speech from Isaac Hayes between the songs, really funky, orchestra's playing fantastic, and it's really awesome, containing some really fantastic songs. So highly recommended. And at the same time I also bought this, The Impressions, the band with Curtis Mayfield. It's been a fantastic year for Curtis Mayfield finds. With this album, I have found the total sum of 4 Curtis Mayfield albums, plus one album with the staple singers that he had produced. So awesome year for Curtis Mayfield. This is the album This Is My Country from 1968, and really something new and something special when it comes to 60s soul. Let's step away from Motown style and into something really special when it comes to arrangements and how they have made the melodies, and Curtis Mayfield's fantastic voice.
Number 2.
Getting close now. Number 2 is a record that I also hasn't bought myself. It was something that I got from a BC member. I got it as a prize from Jenny B-Sides in her contest. We had a little game show there, and I got a package of fantastic records, which one made my jaw drop to the floor, and I listened to it, and it was so fantastic. Number 2 is Back in the Chicken Shack, the incredible Jimmy Smith, Stanley Turrentine, Kenny Burrell, and Donald Bailey also. Really funky and great Hammond organ jazz live recorded, and what's also great about this is it contains a lot of songs that I actually don't had before. Normally when I find Jimmy Smith albums, they are in many cases songs that are on almost every Jimmy Smith album, like I got my mojo working and The Cat and so on. But here is songs that I actually didn't have before, and it's also this is a reissue of an album from the 60s, and a reissue from 2013-14, and you might say that this is by far the newest vinyl that I actually have. So thanks again, Jenny. This was fantastic and one of the best albums that I got during this year. And the worst finding of the year is a record that was really bad. We all make mistakes when it comes to buying records that make us disappointed, that we think when we're buying it that this might be interesting, and it is letting us really down. And I've made a couple of findings like that. Remember Peaches and Herb during the summer, that I had huge expectations, that with the Twice the Fire, that was really far from what I expected with them. Black's Wonderful Life album, that were 2 singles that were great, and the rest of the album was dreadfully boring. Giorgio Moroder and Joe Esposito, that I bought also during the spring, that loved Giorgio Moroder during the 80s, but that album was definitely not his best. It was really uninteresting. But the worst finding of the year goes to a record that I bought because my father talked me into it. No shame to follow him on for that, but that was the case, because we both liked the television show, the police series called Heartbeat, in Sweden called Tillbaka till Aidensfield. And my father saw this record and said that it actually was the actor in this series, so why not try to buy it, and fun to have. And maybe it was fun to have, but I wanted it to be good also. Nick Berry, and a self-titled debut from 1986. From what I know, during the 80s, Nick Berry and the 90s, Nick Berry were a very popular artist in the UK, and I really don't understand why, because in my opinion this guy can't sing one bit, and the melodies were really boring. Pale went in here and out here. Don't remember anything from the songs here, and produced and arranged by Mike Batt. I hope that I don't have any records that he had produced in my collection because it was totally uninteresting. So the worst finding of the year to this album. I hope I'm going to take it to back to the second-hand store soon enough.
And finally, number 1.
So, only one place left. The best finding of the year. And it's a jazz record, actually, that I found during the record fair this spring. And I was so happy about it because when I bought it, it is this Coleman Hawkins album, Caton, from the Jazz Club Series Volume 30, released by Fontana. And when I bought this record, I thought it was a regular, great 1940s Coleman Hawkins album. Great swing and fantastic tenor saxophone, raspy tenor saxophone, but it was even better than that. There is one record label during the 40s that I've been searching high and low for recordings from on physical format. A record label called Keynote. It existed only a short period of time, and it had both famous musicians on the leading an orchestra like Coleman Hawkins, but also many of these background musicians that they got to lead a smaller band of their own, and it became fantastic jazz. Small band swing at its finest, and a very unique sound, very soothing, very relaxing, and ever since I heard a Keynote recording for the first time about 27 years ago, I've been searching for a recording on record from Keynote, and finally I realized that this is an album with just Coleman Hawkins and Keynote releases, and it is really relaxing, soothing, really awesome swing, and fantastic with some of the best names here. You're having Don Byas here, you're having Earl Hines here, you have Teddy Wilson here, Jack Teagarden, and we have Johnny Guarnieri on piano. We have Billy Taylor from the Duke Ellington Orchestra here, Cozy Cole. Biggest names here in the settings, and it is really fantastic swing. So this is my best finding during 2015. Not all that ordinary, but to me it is gold worth. So that was 2015 for me. And let's hope that 2016 will be just as good, if not better. And still, I want more vinyl singles. But of course, it's hard when I have around 4,000 vinyl singles to find stuff from the 80s that I don't have on vinyl singles. But hopefully it will be better. And hopefully 2016 will be a better year. And let's start the celebration. And the next time you will see me, it is 2016. And until next time, I hope that each and every one of my subscribers, everyone from YouTube watching this video, everyone I know, and that all of you have a really happy new year, and take it careful at New Year's Eve. So till next time, so long, and really happy new year.